One of the biggest pushbacks I get when talking to folks considering taking CBD is that they don't want to have to take CBD so frequently. They don't want to feel like they're taking medicine, and I totally get that. But there is a reason why we recommend you take it more than once per day, and I want to help you understand that. So let's get into it right now. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the CBD YOU podcast. And yes, I mean you. This is all about you. And let me just say, it's so nice to finally meet you. I'm Lori, a Christian, a wife, a mama, and a midwife. And to put a little icing on the cake, my husband and I own a hemp farm in Tennessee. Look, I see it in your eyes. You're tired of waking up every day exhausted with aches and pains that you really thought you were too young for. And with all the stress and anxiety of the day, you're over it. Are you starting to wonder if this is really all life is? Girl, I hear you, and you are not alone. God did not design us to just survive. He designed us to thrive. If you're ready to embrace this beautiful life God has given you by discovering some of His best gifts for us, rewarm that coffee you forgot about in the microwave, and let's take a minute to pour back into you with a quick chat and some me time. Let's go. So, I like to start my episodes a lot of times by reading one of the reviews that one of you awesome listeners has left me over on Apple Podcasts, and today is no different. I've got several new ones, and I appreciate that so much. If you haven't left me one yet, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave me a written review, a 5-star written review. It helps me so much as far as when it comes to finding new people who are interested in CBD and learning more about it. And while you can leave reviews on other platforms, it helps me the most when you leave them on Apple Podcasts. So if you don't have an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook or whatever, maybe see if you have a friend that does. You can borrow their phone for a second, or you can put iTunes on your laptop and do it that route. Okay, so the review today says, this podcast is filled with so many rich insights to help expand your knowledge and stay encouraged to improve on our wellness God's way. I also appreciate her warm and gentle tone as she delivers her messages. I highly recommend this podcast. I'm not really sure who left that. I don't know if it's somebody that I know or I don't, because I don't recognize the screen name. But to whoever you are, thank you so much for the kind and encouraging words. It's always funny to hear people comment on my tone and my voice, because I hate it. As I know probably a lot of you do too. When you hear yourself talk, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to hear that. And I don't want to hear my own voice, but I'm glad that some of you don't mind it too much. And I'm glad you keep coming back to listen. So anyway, go on over to Apple Podcasts, leave me a review, and maybe I'll be reading your review next time. Okay. So you may be one of the people who, when you think about CBD, you're like, I don't want to have to take something so often. Why do I have to take it more than once a day? Why do I have to take it even every day? Because a lot of you are wanting to just take it when you need it. If you want to know why you can't just take it when you need it, you're going to need to go back and listen to the episode about the endocannabinoid system. That will help you understand a little bit better. And I'm going to get into it a little bit more here as well about why it's just not the best option as needed. It's more of a maintenance treatment. So if you think about medications, if you've ever gotten a medication prescribed to you from your doctor, which pretty much everyone has, it's kind of the same thing. Dosing is based on what's called a half-life. Half-life is how long it takes for half of that medication, or in this case CBD, to leave your body. Very few medications do you only take once a day, because of the rate at which it leaves your system. And the same goes for CBD. Another factor that impacts how often you take CBD is your metabolism, which we know all of our metabolisms are different. So we give you recommendations based on what most people do or how most people's bodies work, but everybody's going to be a little bit different. That's why when you ask me, how much am I supposed to take? I give you a starting point, but then I also give you instructions about how to adjust it, because I don't know how much you're going to need. I don't know how much anybody needs. I know basically how much you'll probably need, but I don't know your metabolism probably any more than you do. So sometimes it takes a while to adjust to find what your dose is. So the half-life of CBD, let's talk about that. Let's just base it for ease of calculation. Let's just start at 10 milligrams. Let's say you're taking 10 milligrams of CBD. About an hour after you take your CBD, it's going to reach its peak concentration in your body. After the first 3 hours, there's going to be only 5 milligrams of CBD left. That's the first half-life mark. Then again, after 3 more hours, at 6 hours, there's going to be only 2.5 milligrams. Another 3 hours, which is 9 hours from the original dose, you're going to be at 1.25 milligrams. And then again, 3 hours later, down to 0.62 milligrams of CBD left in your body. So you can see every 3 hours, you're losing another half of the CBD that you originally took 12 hours prior. At the end of that calculation, we were to 12 hours. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know sometimes it's hard to follow numbers when you're just hearing them, but if you didn't catch it all, you can rewind and listen to the numbers. Each 3 hours or every 3 hours, the level was dropping by half. Okay. The cool thing about CBD is that when you take it regularly, the half-life actually increases, which makes the results of the CBD last longer. So that's really nice. It just makes it the level doesn't drop quite as quickly. For sleep issues, let's talk about sleep issues. For sleep issues, you can take CBD just once a day. That's probably the only indication that I would say that you're going to get good results if you just take it once a day. If you're going to take it just for sleep, you take it about an hour before you want to go to bed because, of course, that's when you're going to get that peak result like we talked about just a second ago. The reason you can just take it once a day for sleep is because, obviously, you're only needing the benefits during that specific period when you're wanting to sleep. So you're not needing it throughout the day. You're only needing it at nighttime. So if you take it an hour before bed, you're going to have that good peak and it's going to last you through the night. But for things like pain, you're going to need it more often. Okay. If you try to only take it one time a day, you're very likely going to have breakthrough pain or your pain is going to return. Okay. So because you need those ongoing results, you're going to want to take it at least twice a day. For some people who have severe pain, you might want to take your overall dose and rather than taking it twice a day, divide that overall dose in 3 and take it 3 times a day, or maybe even more often if you find that your metabolism is so fast that you're having that breakthrough before your next dose is due. So the nice thing about taking CBD by mouth with the drops is that you get that nice slow absorption through your metabolism to where you're having the results lasting through the day. The downside to taking CBD by mouth is that it takes a while for it to kick in. Okay, so that's one reason why we put the drops under your tongue. That's called sublingual, and the cells underneath your tongue absorb faster than your metabolism does. So you've probably taken some other medication before that they told you to put it under your tongue. One that pops to the top of my mind is Zofran. A lot of times if you go to a hospital, maybe you're having some nausea or some problems, they'll give you a Zofran to put under your tongue because that's the quickest absorption. So when you put CBD under your tongue, you get a little bit quicker reaction or results, and then you go ahead and swallow it, and then you're going to have the slower spread out results over the next several hours through your metabolism. Back to why CBD doesn't work well as needed is because of the way the endocannabinoid receptors work. Think of CBD kind of like a hormone level. If your hormones are up and down, you don't feel your best. Kind of feel all out of whack. Things just aren't right. The same goes for CBD. To have the best results, you want to keep your levels steady so that you aren't having those breakthrough symptoms. It's one of the beautiful things about this system that God created for us is that this system helps to maintain balance. And so to have that maintenance, the best way to have that is by getting a steady dose of the CBD oil throughout your day. Okay. Again, another indication for CBD, anxiety, is another one that you're certainly going to need throughout the day. You're not going to be able to just take that once a day and that be okay because it's going to wear out. Your half-life is going to burn through it. And by the end of that, 10 or 12 hours later, you're going to have breakthrough. And especially for anxiety, that can mean many, many different things. And you don't want to be having anxiety or panic attacks at the end of your day. If you've had it managed with your CBD, you want to keep it managed and not let it wear out to where you have those breakthrough symptoms. A lot of people who deal with anxiety, who find that they do have breakthrough symptoms sometimes, will keep smokable hemp on their person because one of the fastest delivery mechanisms of the cannabinoids is through the mucous membranes inside of your lungs. Now, I don't necessarily recommend you go this route if you don't smoke. I don't want you to start a new habit. But there are ways to vaporize those cannabinoids. And I don't mean like the vape cartridges you buy in the store that have had bad press on the news and things like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these vaporizers that basically heat up the cannabinoids on the hemp, causing them to become a vapor that then you breathe that in. It's not really smoke. There's no smoke to it. It's just a vapor, kind of like, think of it like a steam type of a thing, okay? That's a great way to get the results of the cannabinoids quickly. So it's a good partner to go with the PO or the by mouth CBD because you get the slower absorption through your metabolism and you get the quicker absorption through your lung tissue. I hope that helps you understand why we give you the directions that we do. We do this to help you. If we don't tell you the right way to take it or to use it, it's not going to help you as well as it could. One of the main reasons that people think CBD doesn't work is because they're not taking an effective dose and they're not taking it correctly. We want to make sure you understand how it works so you can get results. We want to help people. It doesn't do us any good if you get our products and they don't do you any good because then you think they don't work. And I know they do, but you got to use them correctly. Okay? If this piques your interest and you want to go try some out, if you've been listening to some of our other shows, you've heard that we have a special going on right now. You can get 20% off your entire purchase, the whole thing, anything you want, okay? You just go to bit.ly or bit.ly/CBD and you show. This is a limited time offer. You better grab it now before it's gone. We've had several people take advantage of it already, and I thank all of you who have done that. I hope you're loving it already. If you are, be sure you shoot me a review or let us know through our email. We just love to hear when we're helping people. But this special will not last forever, so go over there and get it now. bit.ly/CBD and you show. Get 20% off your entire purchase. If you got any value at all out of this episode today, I hope you'll share it with your friends, help them to learn more about CBD so they can benefit as well, and I will see you back right here next week. Thanks so much for listening. Real quick before you take off, if this podcast has helped you or blessed you or you learned something, could you take one quick minute and leave me a written review over on Apple Podcasts? That's the absolute best way you can thank me. I love hearing how what I've learned on my journey has helped you on yours. Remember that the word says every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. CBD is one of them, but there are so many more. Cling to him and you will never go wrong. I'll see you back here in a few days, so go click that subscribe button right now while you're thinking about it so you don't miss it.